Welcome back to Stuff About Money They Didn't Teach You in School podcast. I am your host for today, Erik Garcia, certified financial planner. And this episode, I'm going to talk about one of my financial hacks. Xavier and I have been talking about doing a series on things that we do to manage our own money, just shorter episodes, some real tactical type of stuff that we do that helps us manage our finances. So it is my turn, and I'm going to be talking about something that I call practicing a future payment. Okay, this is something again that I am in the throes of doing this right now. So I'm speaking as a fellow sojourner with you, someone who is actively trying to manage their finances better. And this is something I've been doing for quite some time now. And I'll share a little bit more about that here with you in a second. But here's the idea. All right. You have a predictable future expense. All right. You know that your monthly expenses is going to increase by a certain amount or an estimated amount because of something that's going to change in the future. Could be you go from renting to buying a house. It could be you need to buy a new car. It could be you have a kid going into college. That's my story right now. But the idea is you know that at some point in the future, in the near future, your monthly expenses are going to increase. So the idea of practicing your future payments is before the actual event happens, the purchase of the house, the college tuition is due, we're going to practice those payments. So what I want to do is I want to talk about 3 reasons why you should consider practicing a future payment. I'm going to give you one kind of tactical on the ground, just kind of the mechanics of how to set it up. And then I'm going to give you 3 benefits of practicing the payment. Now, the reasons and the benefits are very tightly connected, but I think it's important to go through those. And then also, I was just curious to see if there's any research that supports this idea of practicing the future payment. And I'll just mention some high level research here at the end just to tie it all together. So let's hop into 3 reasons why you want to practice your future payment. Number 1, you get to stress test your budget. Right? You have limited cash flow and you're predicting this new expense. You get to see if your budget can actually handle the cost of that new expense. It's better to know now before you've committed to the expense and be surprised that you can't cash flow it, or you're going to have to do something really uncomfortable in terms of cut something else that's important in your budget. The second reason to practice your future payment is it's going to help you build confidence and reduce anxiety. So if you're increasing your cash flow for a new expense and it just seems like a big number, well, you can kind of stair step your way to that new expense. So you can do it slowly so that you have the confidence that you know that you can do it. It's going to reduce anxiety when the actual event happens because you know that your cash flow can handle it. So stress test your budget, reduce your or increase your confidence and reduce your anxiety. And the third reason is probably my favorite reason is you get to test the wisdom of the decision. So you get to try it on, so to speak. So before the event actually happens, you're allocating the cash flow to it. So 2 things are going to happen. Either you can't afford it, so you know you probably shouldn't go through with that decision. And 2, you get to see if you're okay sacrificing that extra cash flow for something else, right? Because if you're practicing that payment, you're not spending it on other things. So you get to see if this is something that you really want to consider, or you want to give up other things for this next thing. All right, so those are the 3 reasons: stress test your budget, build confidence, reduce anxiety, and you get to test the wisdom of the decision. Now, mechanically, how do we do this? So my recommendation is you open up a separate savings account and you name it by whatever you are trying to save for. New house fund, new car. For my case, it's college tuition. And you set up an automatic transaction going from your checking account directly into the savings account on a monthly basis in the amount of what the actual cost is going to be. Now, let me note a special kind of note here. Let's say you want to buy a new house and you're currently renting, and your rent is $1,500. And when it's all said and done, you estimate that it's going to cost you $3,500 to go buy a house. You're already allocating $1,500 towards that expense towards rent. So what you want to do is now you have to increase your cash flow by $2,000 for that house purchase, right? 1,500 plus 2,000 gets you to that 3,500. So go open up a new account, call it new house fund, and then divert $2,000 of your other cash flow into that account, right? We're testing your budget. Can you afford that amount? You're going to have some confidence and reduce that anxiety if you know that you can do it. And also you're going to test the wisdom. Man, do I need to buy a smaller house? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you buy a car and you're not currently paying a car note, and you know you're going to go buy a car, and you want to buy a car, and it's going to be $750 a month. Well, save $750 a month into that account. Again, you get to test the wisdom. Maybe 750 is too much. So I need to buy a less expensive car or a used car. I mean, I don't know, used cars seem more expensive than new cars these days, but you get the idea, right? Tuition. That's my story. College tuition. There's an amount that I'm committing to help put my kid through college. So I got to make sure that I can cash flow that. So I'm going to start doing it in advance. All right. So that's the tactical kind of the mechanics, the how to go do it. Go open that account by purposing a specific account with that name. Psychologically, it's a lot easier to save towards something specific, right? You can see the money separate as opposed to just a line item in your budget and it's mixed with all other money. Makes it harder to spend that money on something else. You're less tempted to spend it on something else. All right, let's talk about three benefits of practicing your future payment. Number one is that you're creating a customized emergency fund or a down payment for that event. So if I am saving money in this account, when it's time to spend money on that account, I have a little bit of money set aside, saved up for maybe a few months of that expense. If times get tough, I can use the money that I've saved up, or I can use that lump sum of money that I've saved up to help buy down the monthly cost. I can put more down towards the house. I can put more down towards a new car. But you get the idea. I've got money set aside specifically for that cost. The second benefit is that you're going to ease the transition when the expense becomes real, right? You've practiced it. It's easy. It's like practicing for anything else. Man, if I've practiced it, I'm better at it. It's going to be easier to go into that expense without feeling the shock in that moment. And then the third benefit of practicing the payment is you're building in some financial margin before you need it. I love this idea of financial margin. You're building in some space financially that if things go wrong, you've got money set aside in savings, right? You're also building the habit of saving. That money becomes a buffer to maybe some other financial surprise that could come up. So this is something again that I am currently doing. I am again in the battle with you guys, trying to manage my finances more wisely, more smarter, to be more effective, a better steward of my money. So again, let me sum up the three reasons, three benefits, and then just some high level. This is a quick search that I did of just some research out there. It's obvious, but I love the fact that this idea is backed up by research. So stress test your budget. You get to build confidence, reduce anxiety. You get to test the wisdom of the decision. You're creating an emergency fund specific to that purchase. You're going to ease into that transaction when it becomes real. And then finally, you're going to build margin for when you need it, possibly for some other type of expenses. So anyway, there's this psychological concept. It's a cognitive thing. And I don't know if this is like some pop psychology stuff. They call it episodic future thinking. All right. And specific to this context of money, the idea is that you are projecting a future scenario as if it's real today. And what that does is it prepares you for that future scenario, right? It's going to modify your current behavior. So the idea is this: let's pretend that future expense is actually happening now. I have to pay for it now. I have to save for it now. That's going to change. It's going to influence my current financial behaviors now, right? So that's the idea of practicing that payment. I'm pretending that payment is due now. I'm paying it to myself now. So I have to change other behaviors now. And you get to do it without the stress, without the commitment, without the burden of it having to actually be done, if that makes sense. So I like that idea. I guess it's also kind of tied to this idea of visualization. I'm visualizing something as if it's today. In the past, I've talked about envisioning your future tomorrow as if it's today. Even in goal setting with business owners and personal goal setting, I like to talk about the future as if we're already there, right? So if you're trying to if you're trying to reach some particular financial goal in the future, talk about as though you've already reached it, right? I am out of debt. I can give freely to organizations that I believe in because I am out of debt and I don't have any other financial obligations outside of my regular living expenses. I might not be there, but I'm starting to think as though I'm there, and that's going to change my behaviors today. So I like that idea of episodic future thinking. Also, no one wants to stress about money, right? No one wants the anxiety of not being able to pay for something or buying something that you can't afford. So there's some really interesting research out of the Financial Therapy Association that talks about this idea of when you have savings accounts, when you have an emergency fund, you're reducing anxiety when you're buying something new or getting into a new payment. So again, it sounds obvious. It sounds simple. It's not. It's simple, but it's hard to do. This is not easy stuff. So, um, what's something that you have on the horizon? What's a predictable new lifestyle, predictable new expense that's gonna, be introduced in your monthly cash flow that you can start preparing for today? Thanks for listening, y'all. Hey, if you find this helpful, please share this with someone else who you think would also find it helpful. Xavier and I want to bring these ideas to you because we want to see you thrive financially, thrive personally, thrive in your relationships. And we know that money is tied closely to relationships. So get out there, y'all. Practice your future payments. Plan wisely so that you can live confidently.